Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. It was the last episode of Monday Night Raw before the incoming draft, which is very, very much needed. And we knew going into this show that it was going to be dreadful and unwatchable and just the same old stuff that we're used to getting on Monday Night Raw. They phoned it in for the most part tonight. It's as if they took one half of the script. They wrote an hour and a half of TV and just replayed that, shuffled it around a bit, and used the same script twice in one show. It was wild, it was boring, and it was unimportant. But there was one thing that they did do tonight that everybody's going to be talking about, as the leader of Retribution was revealed, and I believe that even that was not handled correctly, and we are going to talk about all of that, plus so much more, right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review and reaction show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
If you tuned in to Monday Night Raw and now you are tuning in to the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show tonight, you don't want to hear about all of the rematches that we had to sit through. You don't want to hear about how they've already blown Keith Lee's career straight down the tubes and don't really give a damn about him. You don't want to hear about any of the nonsense they put forth on this show other than one thing, and that is what we are thinking about the leader of Retribution being revealed. And we are going to talk about that, and you all know it's the biggest, hottest topic in all of pro wrestling right now, and everybody's going wild about it. Everybody's saying, oh, it's so great, man. Is it? Is it? Oh, this has got to be the WWE's long-term plan. Oh, if they tie this back to some of the old stuff, this could really play out. Calm down. Calm down. You giving them that much credit? This idea, I believe, was just thought up on the fly. Probably maybe a week or two old, if anything. Because it really doesn't make sense. And I'm not unhappy that Ali has been revealed as the leader of Retribution. I'm not hating on it. I don't love it yet. It has potential. But the way that they did it tonight seemed a bit underwhelming, and it didn't really make sense to me to do it tonight when you got the draft next week. I'm going to use the same point with Braun Strowman as well. Braun Strowman's been floating around Monday Night Raw for weeks, and now that the Raw dumping ground hasn't been around for a couple of weeks, they don't know what to do with Braun Strowman. It's obvious that he's going to end up back on Monday Night Raw, or else why would he be doing all these things on Monday nights recently? I believe that they blew it with that as well, and they could have done two things here next week that they blew their wad on this week, and that essentially is Ali is the biggest one of the two, and then Strowman. Strowman and Ali should have been held off till the draft. And you could have made it much more impactful and much more meaningful. In Braun Strowman's case, you have him be drafted to Monday Night Raw, which is now the home of Keith Lee, who could take exception to the fact that there's now another big man walking around. Comes out face to face with Braun Strowman, they have some words, and they start beating the snot out of each other. You don't have to have a match. You don't have to book a unsanctioned match. Well, unsanctioned for what? Oh, Adam Pearce can't approve this matchup because Braun's not really part of the Raw roster yet. What? When has that stopped you over the last couple of weeks? It makes absolutely no sense the way they did it. But if they could have pushed it to the draft and you had him come out, confront Keith Lee there, have the throwdown, and now you're off to the races. Don't have the match that night. You got Survivor Series coming up. You got Royal Rumble coming up, and you extend this thing all the way up until WrestleMania. And you have Strowman versus Keith Lee at WrestleMania. There's a big fight. There's a big match. You want to make Braun Strowman feel important again? That's how you do it. But more importantly, as we said, would have been Ali. Imagine, if you will, pretend we're on the Twilight Zone right now. And next week at the WWE Draft, on the Monday Night Raw episode, Monday Night Raw drafts Ali early in the show. Ali comes out, he's all pumped up, he's all excited, he's going to be a new member of Monday Night Raw. He joins up with his buddies Apollo Crews and Ricochet and everything that we've seen them do with him thus far. But it happens on the first night of the draft. And then you have Retribution have their presence felt. You make that match, Team WWE versus Retribution, later on that night during the draft. And during that matchup is when you have Ali turn on Team WWE. He just came to Monday Night Raw on that very same night, joins up and reveals himself to be the leader of Retribution. Would have gave it a little bit more meaning, I think. Because having the draft looming over all of this, it just feels confusing. Like, what happens next week if T-Bag ends up being traded to SmackDown? Is that even able to happen? Does Retribution get moved in one stable? Are all of these places, are all of these performers that are in these places that they're in, are they safe? Well, then who's eligible? There's over 80 stars eligible in the draft. Who's going to go where? They have no idea, which is why some of these ideas would have been better held off until next week, when you have the draft kicked off, and now you can start your new stories, your new interesting things to keep everything moving down the line. Aside from those two things, there was really nothing of importance on Monday Night Raw, as we were expecting, and we're not going to spend even too much time talking about it. The show opened up with Randy Orton backstage doing a promo from some room in the back, which was fine. It was an interesting and a different way to open up the show. I was grateful that he wasn't coming out to do a promo in the middle of the ring the way they would normally do it, but this was still a long-winded 10-minute performance by Randy Orton before Drew McIntyre came out and ruined the whole thing. We are then told that they are going to be in a 6-man tag later on this evening, which ends up being the main event, which shouldn't have been the main event given the events of the rest of the evening regarding Retribution anyway. And I'm already disinterested. I don't care. You took Randy Orton and you threw him with Dolph Ziggler, who is now attached at the hip with Bobby Roode once again. You brought back Bobby Roode to throw him with a piece of garbage like Ziggler, and now you're taking the two of them and you're throwing them next to Randy Orton. Randy Orton might as well be Constable King Dickhead Baron Corbin. Here we are back again. The same old song and dance. Oh my God. Awful. Absolutely awful. Who needs a 6-man? Who wants to see a 6-man? Well, if that didn't get you going, how about the 6-woman tag we were going to open the show with? We opened the show with a 6-woman tag. We closed the show with a 6-man tag because we just love them 6-mans, right, Vince? It's such good shit. It's such good shit. We're going to shake things up again. Let's do all this interesting stuff this week. Instead of being patient and doing it when the time is right, or maybe a little bit more appropriate. We had a 6-woman tag open this up. Asuka was thrown with Mandy Rose and the human walking talking sausage factory with the duck lips, Dana Brooke, Dana Botchfest, and they defeated Zelina Vega and Natalya and Lana, however you want to say it. I don't want to say it at all. But I feel bad for Lana because once again, she's out there. Not only does she get pinned to lose the match for her team, she gets put through a table once again by a returning Nia Jax. And you can't tell me it's not out of spite. And it's not Vince being his vindictive evil self and getting a little bit of joy out of punishing somebody for somebody else's actions. There's no way that this girl's going to be booked to go through a table 3 times in 4 weeks if there's not some sort of a punishment attached to it, because it just doesn't make sense. Just like this match at all. I don't care at all. We've seen R-Truth in the back. for a 24/7 I don't give a shit avocado colored gold plated belt segment of the night, which ended up finishing in the dumpster, which I thought was rather appropriate. Somebody in the back knows that what they're writing is trash, so they had the 24/7 segment actually end and change titles. The title changed hands in a trash bin, in a giant dumpster bin that held 3 men, 3 human men. Isn't that something? Apropos, if you ask me. Did we need to see it? No. But at least it happened where it needs to happen, which is in the trash. Oh my God. MVP met up with Mustafa Ali, Apollo Crews, and Ricochet. They were trying to unify. They were trying to come together to stand together against Retribution. But Apollo and his buddies weren't having it. Ricochet made like maybe he was interested in joining with the Hurt Locker business, and we all knew this was very predictable. There was no way anybody was joining with them, right? Right, well, we didn't see what was eventually going to come down the line. The first of 2 Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy segments of the evening, and neither one of them were interesting. Essentially, Seth Rollins was out there acting like Jesse Jackson from South Park, just asking Buddy Murphy to apologize. You gotta apologize. You gotta sit down here. You gotta kiss my man bun ass, and you gotta apologize. Mr. Murphy, apologize. That's essentially what we got for 20 minutes, only it was in that much more annoying, apologize. Just apologize, Murph. Apologize. I made you, Murph. Same shit. Week after week, Buddy Murphy wants Seth to apologize to Aaliyah. Seth Rollins put him on blast. He's like, oh, well, I could have said this and I could have said that. I could have told them all the DM exchanges that really were going on, but I didn't do that, right? None of this was interesting. I still am very uncomfortable with the Buddy Murphy-Aaliyah dynamic. It's just weird to me. It's coming out of nowhere. It's out of left field. It doesn't feel great. It feels forced, and it's not genuine. I don't know. It's just wrong to me, and I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't help that it's attached to this whole Seth Rollins Monday Night Messiah shit. It's just going nowhere. It's like a never-ending vacuum, and it just sucks everything out of you because we're seeing these guys do the same shit week in and week out, ending up in a match with Humberto Carrillo and Dominic Mysterio. Again, rematch. We didn't need to see it the first time. We certainly didn't need to see it this time. Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy defeated Humberto Carrillo and Dominic Mysterio. Really? Wow. I was so surprised. Then Braun Strowman confronted Adam Pearce in the back. He said, Raw Underground's not going on tonight, but I'm big and I'm Braun, and I want to fight somebody, and somebody's got to get these hands, and yada yada bullshit. And Adam Pearce, like I told you earlier, was like, well, you can't fight. I can't just give you a match because you're not part of Monday Night Raw, but I could allow you to compete in an exhibition. What? I can't let you have a match on the show, but I'm going to give you a match on the show. It's just unsanctioned. It's like exhibition match. This is the type of bullshit Monday Night Raw considers entertainment. Strowman still didn't know what that meant, but Pearce confirmed that, hey, listen, if you could find an opponent, Strowman can have an unsanctioned match. Strowman's like, I'm happy with that. And then Keith Lee just materialized. Boom! Like a magician. Out of nowhere. And there he was. Boom. Oh, I'm interested. I'll take that shot. Sign me up. And just like that, Strowman versus Lee, booked as a match. Oh, it's unsanctioned. It's just an exhibition. It doesn't really count. If it doesn't count, then why are you doing it? Kevin Owens' show returned to its home on Monday Night Raw. This time he was going to have Bray Wyatt as his guest. Not The Fiend, not Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt. But here's the thing. Bray Wyatt never came out. Bray Wyatt technically wasn't on the Kevin Owens show. He showed up via the Firefly Funhouse, and he showed up just on the Titantron screen. And he showed up to sing us a song. To sing us his friendship song, where all he wanted to say was friends. And then the puppets would be like, friends, everybody's got one, friends. This was not the best Firefly Funhouse segment that there was, but Kevin Owens, as always, was fantastic here. He had an intensity in his voice. All he wants to do is get his hands on Bray Wyatt, on The Fiend, whatever version of this guy he wants to give him. He just wants to get his revenge for what he did to him, following up from the Kevin Owens show on SmackDown, where the possessed Alexa Bliss pretty much fed Kevin Owens to The Fiend. So this is kind of interesting, I guess. I don't mind it as much. They're really just doing this to promote the match for Friday, which should be given way more time than just a week to build up, with how interesting it has been in its first two segments. Imagine if they actually gave this more time to build up. Hopefully there's no real finish to this matchup, which I know they love to do anyway. It'll probably end in a DQ, and we could extend this down the line. Maybe The Fiend is coming to Monday Night Raw, where Kevin Owens will stay, or maybe Kevin Owens will end up on SmackDown and he could feud against The Fiend. But isn't The Fiend being put in position to be a babyface so that he could go up against Roman? No, probably not. And heels and faces don't matter anymore, right? The Hurt Business, they prove that on a weekly basis. Bray Wyatt invited Kevin Owens to sing along in his friendship song, but Kevin Owens was not going to do that, and he went in the back. He was going to hunt down Bray Wyatt. He's like, you're not going to come to me, I'm going to come to you. And that's when Captain Black Sparrow, Aleister Black, shows up out of nowhere, very Randy Orton style, knocks out Kevin Owens at the top of the ramp with a black mass kick. And that was the end of the night for Mr. Owens. Charlie Caruso interviewed Drew McIntyre, where he accepted Randy Orton's Hell in a Cell challenge from the beginning of the show. The exhibition match between Braun and Keith Lee ended in a double countout after only a minute's worth of action. So what was the point of even doing this? What I mentioned at the beginning of this show would have been much more effective. If you just have them confront each other, have a little heated exchange, go into a fight, end up trading blows, end up going into the stands, breaking up tables, being pulled apart by everybody and their mother because they're two giant men, so you'd have to have a lot of people to keep them apart to make it seem believable. That would get people hyped. This doesn't get anybody hyped. This is WWE just giving away something they should be building up to. And even though there was no payoff here and it was a schmaz finish, you took the luster off of the allure of the first encounter between these two men instead of allowing it to simmer and build. They've never even met before. They never spoke. Nothing's ever happened. Keith Lee was in the back eating a biscuit, and he was like, "Hey, Braun, I'll take him up on that challenge." Or a pretzel stick, or whatever the fuck he was eating, but he was back there eating something. That's how this feud got started. He just happened to overhear Adam Pearce while he was eating a biscuit. Oh, yeah, I'm not hungry anymore. I'll go beat somebody's ass. Doesn't make too much sense, but anyway, there was another Bianca Belair video package. This one illustrating how she is the smartest, since she's the EST, being the EST at everything that she does. This was a kind of amusing segment, but I just thought the setup was kind of stupid. She's just in a room with three dopey girls that I guess are supposed to all be smart. They didn't look like they were smart girls, if you know what I'm saying. They didn't look nerdy or anything like that, but Bianca Belair is talking about the actual scientific reason for why the sky is blue, proving that she is smarter than the average bear. And this is fine. Like I said, continuing along the traditions of those Mr. Perfect style vignettes, fantastic. It's fine with me. The United States Champion Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin defeated Apollo Crews and Ricochet. with Mustafa Ali at ringside. This was the 19,000th time we've seen Apollo Crews in the ring with one or more of the members of the Hurt Business. I'm so tired of seeing it. Ricochet as well. Who cares at this point? How many times does Bobby Lashley have to beat Apollo Crews? He tapped out to the Hurt Lock once again tonight to end it for his team. Do we care anymore? Can we please move on to something else? Oh my God. But in this moment, before this matchup, MVP decided to steal my thunder. Or maybe he's a sledgehead and watches this show, in which case, hey, MVP, what's up? But if you're not watching the show, we're on the same wavelength because he called T-Bar Teabag. And as far as I know, I was the only one in all of wrestling calling him that. And I see everybody on social media getting all excited and laughing up a storm. Oh, did you see what MVP? No, he didn't call him that. I called him that. I called him that. That's my name. Am I being petty right now? Sure. Sure am. That was my joke. Yous know it. 2 weeks ago we blew that joke out of the water. And now he's going to get all the credit for my joke. Bastard. Anyway, that little aside, let's move on with the rest of this ridiculous show. I don't care. There was no Cedric Alexander again this week. Buddy Murphy was given the deadline to apologize by Seth Rollins. So we come back and we get the follow-up, the second Seth Rollins Buddy Murphy segment of the night, and this one boiled down into a brawl because Murphy would not apologize no matter how many times Seth was like, apologize, just apologize, Murphy, apologize. Murphy wasn't having it, so Seth Rollins got a little physical. Buddy Murphy decided to take him down, double leg takedown. Brawl ensues. Next thing you know, the kendo sticks come out because, you know, what's a Seth Rollins Guerrero segment without a little kendo stick action? And then Aaliyah would come out of nowhere and try to stop Seth Rollins, who was about to assault Buddy Murphy with a steel chair. And then the whole Mysterio family comes out. Dominic, Tiny Dad, and now Mom. She's involved. Why does Mom have to come out? Why? Explain to me why she's got to run out there in her heels. Wouldn't Rey Mysterio be enough? The man is a multiple-time world champion. He's a professional wrestler. He could go out there with his son, who's larger than him, who is also a professional wrestler, and be like, yo, what's up, Aaliyah? Why are you out here? Why are you doing this? Why does Mom have to come out? I don't understand. Nothing against the wife personally. It's just the overall reasoning just doesn't apply. She should sit in the back and she should be like, yo, go get your girl, Ray. Go get my daughter and bring her back here to me so I can give her a Latina whooping. But no. Instead, we're all running out there for the cameras, and this is what Vince wrote, and it's a little cheesy, just like everything that Seth Rollins is doing as this heel is a very, very cheesy rendition of a heel character. But I guess it got over what they wanted it to get over. I don't know. Dominic's just like, oh, why are you doing this? Don't you remember what he did to our father? This and that. Meanwhile, everybody's overlooking the fact that he's out there trying to show some respect to their daughter. Like, shouldn't that count for something? Shouldn't you start to be seeing, well, maybe Murphy's kind of screwed, maybe he's being forced to do some of this stuff by Seth Rollins? But I'll tell you what I see maybe that this might be a setup. I think Seth Rollins might be masterminding this whole thing, and he's going to have the Mysterio family believe Buddy Murphy has changed, only for him to break all of their hearts collectively in the end. That would be a more interesting way to finish this. Otherwise, I don't really see where this is going. What, is Buddy Murphy going to become an honorary Mysterio? Is he going to start teaming with Dominic now, and they're going to send Humberto back to catering with his dimples? Like, I don't get it. So it seems like the obvious and the most logical move would end up making this whole thing a swerve, and that Rollins was behind it the whole time. Do they, the creative team, have the frame of mind and the intelligence to do that and to pull it off convincingly? I don't know. Is Buddy Murphy going to end up on SmackDown by the time we end the draft next week and be away from Seth Rollins now that this thing has either boiled over or not? We'll have to wait and see. We didn't have to wait any longer to see the Women's Tag Team Championship matchup that we were supposed to get at the Clash of Champions. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler successfully defended their championships against Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan of the Riott Squad. Did you expect any different? Because I certainly didn't, and it's no disrespect to the Riott Squad as a team. It's just they're not in the position to do that. To win the championships, to even be a viable contender. They've done nothing to make you believe that they stand a chance against a monster like Jax and a submission machine like Baszler. I actually didn't hate this match. I'll be honest with you, I didn't hate this match. I thought of all of the matches that they have had so far as a tag team, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, this might have been one of their better ones. There was a couple of pretty nasty, botchy spots at the start of this match, but there was an intensity here, and there was a fire in the eyes of Shayna Baszler. Ruby Riott was selling the shit out of everything. She was fucking fantastic tonight. Liv Morgan was in the corner. She was almost in actual tears watching her partner getting her ass beat down, and there was just something a little bit intriguing there. Like, wow, these girls are really going out there and really trying to do their thing. I thought Ruby Riott was fantastic tonight. She made these girls look like $1 million. And the extra added drama of Baszler not letting go of the chinlock at the end of this thing, and Liv Morgan desperately pleading and trying to pull her off. There was just some high drama there. Just so happened Nia Jax was there as well. And you gotta call a spade. And Shayna Baszler is the queen of spades. And I didn't even mean for that to happen, but it happened. And I'm glad you were here to listen to it. But that's my honest opinion. Was it a great match? No. It wasn't a great match. But it definitely wasn't bad. And it wasn't bad considering the participants involved. Way better than the six-woman match that opened up this show. I thought that was pretty decent. Then Mustafa Ali is in the ring. He's going to fight MVP. And here's where all the shitteth hitteth the faneth. And midway through whatever this match was, the lights start going out because the Hurt Business were going to gang up on Mustafa Ali as he was very much in control of the match with MVP. Bobby Lashley hits the ring, Shelton Benjamin hits the ring, and then the lights go out, and then Retribution comes out, and then Mustafa Ali sides with the Hurt Business, and then goes and confronts Mush and Teabag, and he looks at them and he's like, please don't give me a stupid name like Lightspeed or something, and like, I'm the leader of this thing, I think. And then he turns around and it's like, go get him. That's my interpretation. Hopefully they don't give him some stupid nickname, some stupid Retribution nickname. Just let him be Ali, let him be Mustafa. I don't care. Don't call him Lightspeed or Circle Jerk or whatever the fuck ridiculous name you might have in your head for him. But this opens up a whole new can of worms for this faction. There is a tremendous amount of potential. Does it really make sense? No, but it's different enough, and Mustafa Ali is an interesting enough character. He's well educated, he's well spoken, he's been held down on this roster, he's been given stop-start push after stop-start push, and if they are smart enough to tie this into the whole hacker stuff, and Mustafa Ali is actually revealed to be the hacker as well, and this was the groundwork, and this is where he decided to put Retribution together when he was seeing what was going on while he was the hacker, and that he was never going to get ahead because he was spying on everybody and he's got dirt on everybody and now he knows what he needs to do. And bring it full circle, it has potential to be great. The team itself still is just, it's very stupid looking. He looks like he was just standing in the middle of the ring at a Halloween fair. Alright, like, you know, like they did Halloween Havoc, and these were the, which they are bringing back for NXT, by the way, which is an exciting thing, but let's not get too sidetracked. But it was, they look silly. They really do look silly. And Mustafa Ali is about half the size of all the guys that are now involved in Retribution. So it could change it for the better. It really, really could. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I don't hate it. And that's a good starting point. Hopefully they don't ruin any of this with the draft. Actually, I wouldn't mind if they sent the whole entire Hurt Business to SmackDown, because I'm just so tired of seeing them on Raw. They get 4 segments every single week, and it's just a little bit much. Then we had the main event, which was the 6-man tag, Drew McIntyre and the Street Profits versus Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. This didn't need to happen. This show should have went off the air with Mustafa Ali as the leader of Retribution being revealed. That was the main event segment of the night. This was just another reason for Randy Orton to RKO Drew McIntyre. I have a feeling Drew McIntyre's championship reign is coming to an end at the Hell in a Cell. Randy Orton has now lost on pay-per-view the last 3 times that we've seen him against Drew McIntyre. He won tonight in this 6-man, but what more can they do? Like, if Randy doesn't win, Randy's gotta go. What if Randy gets traded to SmackDown? That's why all of this stuff is so confusing. And what's even more confusing is that I believe they still have no idea what they're doing come showtime next week. This draft is going to be interesting, to say the least. Tonight's Monday Night Raw had its interesting moments, but there were poop hammer segments throughout. Every single rematch, every single 6-person tag, every single time I have to see Dana Brooke. Every single time I have to see guys like Humberto Carrillo. I don't know why they just pull these people out of obscurity and then stick them into some team, and now we're supposed to be like, oh, okay. You killed the whole return of Mandy Rose for what? Shouldn't she have come in the draft as well? Talked about Braun and we talked about Mustafa. She should have been another one. It shouldn't have been done because The Miz said so. Storyline to do what? To piss off Otis? This is so stupid. It's one of the worst aspects of SmackDown, which is the better of the 2 shows. But now you got Mandy Rose here at Monday Night Raw. Mandy Night Raw. And she's got a saddlebag like Dana Brooke on her hip. Why did you move her? She was coming off of this great feud with Sonya Deville, and all you did was put her in a different tag team now. For what? For what? To challenge Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler? Dana Brooke's going to be a women's tag team champion? No. Nobody will believe that. Nor does anybody want to see that. Do I want to see Mandy as a champion one day? Sure, of course. She's put in the work. She deserves it. She's doing pretty well. She's getting better every time I see her. But do I want to see Dana Botched get anything? You know the answer to that. These are the Sledgeheads. You know the answer to that. I felt the same way about Nia Jax, but hey, it is what it is, right? That was tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. Mustafa Ali is the leader of Retribution. Everything else was poop hammer worthy. Especially anything to do with Seth Rollins, anything to do with the Hurt Locker business, anything to do with Orton and McIntyre, anything to do with Dolph Ziggler. Ugh. This show was terrible. Overall, this show was terrible. But you know that. That's why you're a fan of this show. That's it, man. We ain't going to waste any more of your time. We're going to get the hell on out of here. We're going to go do a couple of quick rounds of Star Wars Squadrons, which has so far been frustrating and fun all at the same time. And then we're going to hit the hay because, hey, tomorrow's another day. Thank you guys all for your continued love and support of this channel. Thank you to all our new subscribers because we keep getting more and more every day as we are on the march to 3,000, and we are almost there, and we are almost there because of awesome people like you. If you had a good time here today and you were still here at 35 minutes deep and I made you laugh or I made you cry or I made you understand why this show is a piece of crap, hit that subscribe button right now because you, my friend, are a sledgehead. And this is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show where sledgeheads reside only on Sledgehammer TV. And this is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball. My name, as you already know, is Nick Nightmare, but the most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you. Don't forget to smash that like button, share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to know why this show is a big steaming pile of cow dung, and most importantly, subscribe if you have not done so by now. If you missed anything else this week, we got the SmackDown review, you got the Clash of Champions review, you got me drawing Thunder Rosa, and much, much more. We also have the retro review of the first ever Clash of Champions. Everything wrong with Clash of the Champions from 2016. Is it 2016? I forget. Whatever it is, it's there. Go check it out. It's a little bit different format. It's a little bit more fun. It's a little bit more fast-paced. And I think you will enjoy it. The more people watch that, the more I will be motivated to do more videos like that. So let's get those numbers up as well. Thank you all so very much. That is going to do it. We are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.